Welcome to the live show. It's Marshall. How's it going, everyone? Hey, hope you've had a good week. It's Sunday, so it's time for a live stream, and let's just kind of see where we're at here. So last week, I ran into a bunch of issues, and yesterday I spent pretty much the whole, most of the day and most of the night even, kind of going through and working on this track. So it's almost done. So what I want to do is just kind of jump in. We'll play through what I have. I'll explain what I've done, and then we'll kind of see what happens from there. So let's hear what we got. So I kind of screwed up actually. The the breakdown actually goes for another few measures, and I cut it short. But let me just play that real quick because it's got like a little bit of a build up that's important. And what I probably should do is break this up because I'm used to, I'm used to a certain way. So like I click too early. But anyway, let's just play that back. So yeah, that was kind of important. So sorry for cutting that off. Real quick, let's just give a shout out to the chat room. We've got Das Goss. What's happening, man? Maybe it'll refresh. I'm not sure what's going on there. That should show my chat room, and it's not. But we got Das Goss in the house. So what's happening, Das Goss? Let me see if this is going to refresh for me. It may not. So if it doesn't, I apologize. I might check that again a little later. There it goes. Boom. Das Goss in the house. Okay. So yeah, so this track's coming along. So let me just kind of go through what I have done. Basically, you can hear one of the big changes is an additional melody that I was kind of just fooling around as I was working on this last night and playing around with the virus a little bit and came up with this little melody in here. So let's just solo this. And we'll solo. That should be. Let's see if that'll play like that. Yeah. So, and I think it fit quite well in the track, so I kind of added it, and then in the main chorus portion, I just doubled them up. Well, thanks, Das Goss. Yeah, it's definitely coming together really nice. And before the stream, I went for a drive and listened to it a few times. There's a couple things like with the Reason samples, some distortion there that I need to fix, but I'll probably do that off camera. I'm not sure if I'll have to set up Reason again and resample them. I'm not sure what's going on there, but as soon as I kind of went through some of the mixing and mastering portion, I noticed that it was kind of screwed up, and I can't hear it. Like I couldn't hear it in my car, can't hear it on my monitors, but when I put headphones on, I could hear a little bit of distortion in those sounds. So I definitely want to try and fix that. But yeah, let's just look at what we have going on. So I used a bunch of virus stuff for the transitional effects, which, in my opinion, with this type of trance music, which is kind of like a techno trance and stuff, that the transitions are extremely important because it basically bridges these different sections of the song, and a nice transition just sounds really good, I think. So I focus a lot on that in this type of music. So let me pull up the Virus TI plugin. See if I can remember how to navigate my Virus TI module that I made here. Here we go, USB outputs. There we go. Okay, so let's get this guy up here. So I'm using 5 different different sounds from the virus. We've got Dirty Dream, Big Fly, Aposi, I guess. I'm not sure. I can't really see that one very well. All Around XM. So let's just look at these real quick. So with the transitions, those sounds are here, which this one I made live on a live stream a while back. Let's just let's hear what that one sounds like. And solo. So that comes in fairly subtle. And then we have this one. Let me just scooch over to that one. Just kind of a gentle rise with a little filter on it. And then we have this one. Set these off. So you can hear that one. That kind of has that cool little. Ooh. It's pretty cool. And then we have this one. This is that melody. Here we go. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I added since the last time you guys saw me. I went through and corrected some of the latency problems with the audio that I had from the TR-09 and the TR-08. Now, I've decided to try a couple of things to correct that in the future, and I'm going to use 5-pin MIDI cables and see if that solves my problem. So I've ordered a Motu MIDI 128 interface or whatever, and we'll see if that cuts down on this. If that's still a problem for me, my only real solution then is going to be to build a new computer. And I did price that out just to see if it's a viable option for me. And right now, I can't afford to do it. But probably in the next couple of months, I should be able to get it together. And we'll be doing, like, if I do that, we're going to go for a high-end either Core i9 Intel processor or one of the Threadrippers from AMD. And that actually would be an interesting experiment to see how those newer chips work, how well they work with audio production. And this computer I'm working on right now has got an older, I think a 4th generation Intel i7, and it's decent, but it's probably about 3 years, and it's about time to upgrade. And I've been having some issues with the computer freezing and some other stuff too. So actually, probably either later tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to go through and just start fresh with Windows on this computer. That may also help a little bit. But yeah, I didn't want to jeopardize our stream here tonight, so I didn't do anything with that. But yeah, so this track is definitely coming together. Anything else I can tell you about? Let's just see here. Yeah, not much really. I mean, I went through and kind of double checked my mix. Let's talk about the mastering a little bit. So I'm using the Event Horizon plugin, which always gives me this weird thing where I have to it tells me it's not registered, but it is, and every time I open my instance of Ableton with this on here, I have to delete it and re-add it. It's really weird. I should probably contact their support, see if they could fix that for me, because I think it's not good to have it do that. But anyways, so Ozone, let's just talk about this. So I have a standardized mastering chain that I always use with Ozone. I start with an EQ, and I just pretty much brick wall some of the high and the super low frequencies. Then I'll get into the exciter, and depending on how the track has been coming along, you can see this track actually had to boost up quite a bit on the low end over here, and some of the mids and highs. it's kind of this is subjective. Like as the track is built, when you get to this stage, you'll notice it needs a little of this or a little of that, and you just kind of adjust accordingly. So from there, I've got the dynamics. This is basically a multi-band compressor, and you can also boost frequencies within here. And I had to bump up again the low. Let's see, the low end I had to bump it up quite a bit. And this is something that I always struggle with in my productions is I'm afraid to get too much bass in a lot of the time. So like I go kind of easy on it. And when I compare it to a reference track, which I almost always use some type of deadmau5 tune because he's got great balance in a lot of his production. So I use like, what's the one I use? It's called Spill or Slip or something like that. It's an older one, but I kind of use that as a bass line to check my bass, right? That's cheesy. So anyway, with this track, I noticed that I was not getting the right amount of bass, so I had to boost some of those frequencies. And you can see here a little bit of adjustments here and there with some of these other things. And this is a lot like the Exciter, where depending on what's going on with the song, you may need to adjust these. But this section here is kind of the glue. This makes everything kind of come together, so to speak, and sound whole. I don't know why or how really that is happening, but this is kind of the magical module within Ozone that makes everything sound really good together, I think. Then a little bit of stereo imaging, and I don't do a lot of that on the super low ends, just a tiny bit on the high end because I kind of manually split the stereo spectrum a lot of times. And then within the dynamic EQ, this was new, and like I think Ozone 7 had this, and it just basically allows you to kind of pull down certain, or up even if you wanted, certain frequencies once a threshold is hit. So it's almost like you can set a threshold for like over here. This is what I don't do a whole lot of this because I don't think it's really that necessary in a lot of cases, but sometimes you'll get certain sections in the high end where you think, I kind of need to pull some of that down, but I don't want to do it constantly, only when certain kind of spikes occur. And the dynamic EQ is really great for that. And then, of course, we have the maximizer, which is basically the limiter within Ozone. And the Event Horizon plugin really helps because you can set this to clip and boost your track level before it even hits any of your mastering chain. And this is helpful because then you're not, when you're trying to get a certain loudness on the track, you're not you're not gonna just beat the shit out of your limiter. So it makes its job a little bit easier when you use something like the Event Horizon. There's another one called K-Clip, I think. I guess they have a little different flavor of how they sound, and I should probably try K-Clip too, but the Event Horizon I think has always been really good. So, and then from there, I switch it into mono. I'll go through, do a mix. Sometimes I'll pull everything all the way down to 0 and Ableton, all the faders, and just go one at a time and bring some levels in. I would, at that stage, turn the limiter off here, but once I've got kind of up to that point, then I'll go into mono. I'll do my kind of final mix, or what I think is going to be the final mix. Then I'll bounce it all out, and then I'll play it against a reference track, and in this case I used that deadmau5 tune. And notice I needed to make some changes, so went back in, made some changes, and then listened to it on headphones, and then listened to it in the car. The car has always been really important because my old vehicle was a 2015 Mustang, and it had a shaker audio system. Like, it was actually a stock stereo system from Ford, but it had a lot of bass in it. It came with its own 8-inch subwoofer, and it sounded really good. And I used to love to check out my tunes once they were done in that system. So, but I don't have that car anymore. Kind of traded up, I would say, in some ways with a Corvette, but it doesn't have that level of sound system. So I'm going to need to do some work on that car, I think, to get it to where it needs to be. But I did kind of go for a drive for about 30 minutes before the show and just kind of listen to how this was coming together. It sounds really good, I think, and it's pretty close to being finished. There's just a couple things that I want to work on here. And one of the things is with that newer melody, there was a spot in there that I wanted to kind of try and switch up a little bit. And it's, let's see if I can find it here. It's this, so we got the build, and then we have this portion here. So this, I kind of want to work on this a little bit and just see what happens if I make a few adjustments to this. So first of all, this one and the second one were different. I just wanted to see what each one sounded like. I think I like the second one better, where this section kind of goes up and down a couple times. I don't think it quite sounds right. And then the other thing I wanted to try was, since I've got this on this chain in the Virus, let me see if I can find this. So this is one of the USB, I think it's 2 or 3. I think it's 2. You can see kind of what I've done. I did cut a lot of this low-end frequencies out, put some ping pong delay, which I love, and some stereo imaging on this. The reason why I did this is because this is a USB track. It's not something that I could probably split these out into individual channels, but I just threw this on here and seemed to do the job. And then a little bit of sidechain compression, but it's like almost the reverse of what I would normally do. And it seemed to really bring that sound into the mix a lot better. So, and then my final compression stage. But let me just give you an idea of what this sounds like without any of the processing on it real quick, because the sound is quite a bit different actually after I went through this process here. But yeah, let's just hear how that sounds. So let me go and solo the Virus again. And I'm gonna do this so that we can trigger just the one we want, which is one of these. So if we start kind of shutting these plugins off, it sounds kind of boring, but as we go through and add these, especially that ping pong delay really helps out. And I am doing a good amount of compressing on it. Alright, so that's good enough. So let's just try my experiment. So we have this build up and we go into here. So I guess let's just hear this again with the rest of the track. We'll kind of A-B these two. This one. So I think that I don't need some of these notes because of the delay, and I'm going to try that as well. But first thing, let's just copy this guy. Let's paste it here, since I think this is the one I want to keep. And then I'm just going to delete some of these notes. That one I might want to keep, we'll see. Alright, let's just see what that does here. So I think that sounds all right. I'll have to, again, this is a process that I'm going to need to listen to that a little bit and see how I feel about it. But just to compare, let me just take this one and move it up, and we'll move this one here. This is how. I might like that better, but again, I'll have to do some listening. So for right now, we're gonna put this back here. We'll put this one here. And then the other thing I was thinking about was in the build-up where this kind of changes up a little bit. I leave it on a note where it's going to be completed up here. So what is that? A C. So this comes all the way up to a B, but I can probably actually toss in a C up here and just see if that helps. And I'm trying to remember. So this is again the MIDI notes look like they're kind of weird because again I'm dealing with a weird latency deal. So they're not. This also makes it a little more complicated when you're trying to program with live instruments and you've got this problem. So I'm going to just toss one in here and we'll see how that sounds. I may need to move this around a little bit, but let's just hear how that sounds. Yeah, I think that's going to work better. Let me find this on the push. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. So yeah, let's let me just try one other thing. We're gonna zoom in. I might want to just scooch this a little bit further. So maybe there. Let's just see what that sounds like. So that might work. I just need to listen to that a time or two here. Let's move back to here. I like this better. So again, that's another thing where try it both ways, but I also think this sounds better. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I've got a few little decisions like that to make, and then it's pretty much done. And I can move on with my life. I think next week. So I'll have this finished by next week for sure. So I'll play that through for you guys next week. And then next week, I think what I want to start on first of all is I'll have that MIDI interface. Maybe we'll do some testing with that and see if we have any improvements in latency using MIDI DIN versus USB with some of these devices. And then what I want to do is actually make a couple of little filler tracks, like bumper music for the show. So maybe we could do some of that stuff. Like my little intro, that little 4-second tune. That's something that I made a while back for actually a different show, but I'm using it here. But I want to have some different types because I do a lot of other things on this channel. So maybe I'll have one for interviews, one for live streams, one for synth demos, one for synth, you know what I mean? So like stuff like that. And then I'd like a little outro tune as well for that like 20-second outro reel. So maybe we'll work on some of those. And those actually, I'll put those up for free. Like if anyone ever wants to use anything like that for any of their videos, I'll make those freely available for everyone. So that'll probably be what we start next week, is kind of working on some of those to help the show out and we get a little bit of a process. Nice thing is those kind of tunes are short and they don't have to be as complex as something like this. So I'm hoping we can knock out a couple of them in a week or two, and I think that's a good idea. So yeah, I guess what we could do for now is, since I've made some changes, we could bounce this out. Where's my mouse? Did this computer freaking freeze up on me again? See what I mean? It froze. Stupid thing. It keeps freezing. It's literally it. I'm gonna wipe it probably right after this show. And the problem is that I have a lot of plugins, etc., and it takes a long time to get everything back up and going. So that's always an issue. The good thing is Ableton should have a backup of what I just did. So actually, let's just reboot this stupid thing. This is going to kill the chat, so if you guys have any chat going, I'm probably not going to see it. So, we'll just reboot this guy. And then I have to do manual video switching. So I'll just switch to that. So yeah, good times with this computer. I like I said, it's about 3 years old. It's a little long in the tooth for what I normally do. I normally replace or build a new one every 2 or 3 years, so it's about due. Maybe we can look at some of that. I don't know. Maybe we can do that later tonight or next weekend. In terms of looking at, oh, that shot's all screwed up, isn't it? It sure is. Let's go back to this one. Do 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 do. let's fire up the screen share. Yay, my screen's back. That chat window is still frozen, so. Because that is running from a virtual PC, virtual instance on this same computer, so when I had to restart that, it killed that. Oh, glorious live streams. All right, let's see if this saved my my progress. Ableton 10 has been pretty good about that because I've had this happen over the last. It's gotten more frequent here recently. It could mean that I have a drive that's going bad. That's also a symptom of that. Of your computer locking up like that just randomly is could be a hard drive is about to die. So I might need to run Crystal Disk on here and just see if I have any issues and swap out. Yeah, I might swap out some drives, but I think possibly just reinstalling Windows will help. So I'm gonna get signed into YouTube over here. Yeah, see, let's see if it recovers my work here so I can chat with you guys. Yay, we got it back. Cool. So crash report. I don't care about that. Let's see if it saved my changes here. Specifically. Come on. I guess let's play that and I think I'm just gonna keep this one. Paste. All right, cool. So let's do this. Let me go. Actually, so again, remember how I was talking about those transitions and what in this type of music, that's kind of the thing for me is like you got to have really awesome sounding transitions to connect everything. So I just wanted to let's solo this again. Let's play a section where all those transitions are kind of happening, so you guys can hear how those sound. So here. We'll take off that sound. So this is just the transitions here. So that's all those sounds. Yay for us. Not sure if it's oh, that one's muted. So we'll wait for it to get there. And then what I'll do is I'll just go through and I'll print this out into the arrangement mode and then bounce it to audio. And it'll be time to listen to it a few more times. And if it's all good, there you go. You can hear all those sounds. So yeah, lots of little intricate things going on there. And then it, combined with everything, it just sounds really cool. I think this has turned out really nice. All right, cool. So yeah, let's go into arrangement mode, and I'm gonna just select all and delete all this, and then we'll go to here, and I'm just gonna play through these and record them into the arrangement view, so that way I can bounce it out as a full song. Actually. Go up here. Just noticed is that we're not hearing certain things. So let me start this over. I think I muted something on the virus. Yeah, there we go. Let's try that again, since that other melody had been muted. Stupid Marshall. Let's try that again. All right. All right. So yeah, actually listening to that virus section, I'm gonna just change that real quick. But I think we can do that on the fly. If we come down into here and find the MIDI section for that sound, which is here. How do I gotta turn that off. Where's our buildup? Right here. So I don't work in arrangement mode very often on here because I like to work in clip mode, but let's just scooch this. You know what? That might just be... Let's see what that sounds like here if we play this section. Problem solved. So now let's do a bounce out. So I'm just gonna save my work and we'll export and we'll export. So this is gonna be version 10. And we can actually go back and listen to we'll go back and listen to this one here in a second and just see how much this has changed. So, because the virus is hooked up, this is going to play through again. But, oh, what the hell happened? That was kind of weird. Let's rewind that all the way. All right. File. Export. Export. Version 10. Yes. So if this was all printed audio, it wouldn't play back through, which I'll probably do once I'm 100% sure on how that new melody from the virus, if I'm going to make any changes to that. But yeah. You see, this goes blank. You can't touch any of the plugins when we do this. That's okay. So I'm getting some disk overload, but I've never seen that really make a difference. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm pretty sure if I eliminate the playback through the live instruments, obviously that'll go away. Sometimes it's nice too because you can get another listen as it's bouncing if there's any issues. But yeah, I'm definitely ready for this song to be finished. It's been fun. It's sounding good. I'm loving the vibe. But there's some other stuff I want to work on. There's a couple older tracks that I had found from, gosh, probably mid 2000s that I kind of want to work on and bring back to life. So those will be coming up on some live streams too, but yay. So yeah, with these disk overloads, so always hit okay. And again, I haven't noticed any issues like with the way the printed audio ends up sounding from that. But it's again that may be a sign of a hard drive that's about to fail. So all right, so I'm just going to save this. That's already saved, so we'll quit. And then, yeah, let's go back and listen to the first version of this that I have. Let's go here. So, yeah, let's go all the way back. Let's see, when was this date created? This was April, so about a month ago. This is what I had for this. Tell right away it's a lot quieter. I'm not even sure how loud that's coming through for you guys, but it sounds super quiet to me. It's a weak sauce. And it's only, how long is this? Three and a half minutes. So the final version's actually 5.5 minutes. So add a few more minutes, and of course, all of the additional changes here. This sounds so much better. Yep, that's it, guys. That's almost the final version there. So I don't know that much else is going to change. So once this is completely finished, it's going to go up on my record label, and it'll be on Spotify, and I'll make a little video for YouTube so you guys can listen to it whenever you want. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun working on that. And I can't wait to start something else, though. You know, I get kind of tired of working on stuff over and over again. But yes, it's been a fun journey here the last few weeks. Those of you who've tuned in, I really appreciate you. And again, so next week, well, actually next week I have an interview with Adamski. If you guys are familiar with him, he's a DIY synth builder. He's got a channel here on YouTube. We did get our interview recorded on Saturday, this Saturday, so I'm going to have that out on either Tuesday or Wednesday this week. Then we'll have the live stream again next week, which will work on some bumper music for the show. And I have some pre-recorded stuff I've been working on. I know I keep saying it's going to be coming out soon, but I haven't had time to sit down and finish all the editing for it. So you guys will see some stuff, though, here coming up soon for that. Yeah, so that's about it. So I guess I'm going to call it a night here. I'm going to start working on this computer problem, see if I can get this computer running better. And I see you guys next week. Have a good week.